Thank you so much. Hey, Z, thank you so much for coming down. I know this has been one of those weeks for you, should I say one of those few months for you. But I'm so glad that you've taken some time now to relax and get back into the flow of things.
Of course.
I know you had a serious campaign going on out there, but you're still focused. You're still doing the good work that you're doing. And I want to say to you, yeoman's job that you've done to stand up, to do what you felt compassionate about doing. And you stayed the course because it wasn't just a fluke. You're still committed to what you was doing then, and you're doing it now. So that just shows the character of a person on how they stand and what they stand for. So keep up the good work, sister. Thank you for coming back to get the work done again. And so let's get down to some business. Tonight we want to focus on some topics. But for those who don't know Zerlina can introduce herself to her own degree. But I'm going to tell you that she's a mother. She's a community advocate, activist. She's a passionate person. She's a preventionist. She's the director of Increase the Harvest, Mothers Who Care. She's with the national group here, the national group over there, the national group over there, and the national group. Now, I may not be able to enumerate all of these things, but you get the point. But I sum all of that up to just basically saying that you believe in what you're doing and that you're really a true servant for social change. So with that being said, I want to thank you again, Zerlina, for all you do, and just for having a passion to want to empower our young people, empower the parents, and then really making a serious effort to bring about some stability in this senseless plight of violence in our neighborhood and the work that you're doing with the Institute. But tonight, if you don't mind, I'd like to focus more specifically on what we can do in the community to continuously to empower the people and to encourage the people to vote. We have an opportunity now to make history again in Chicago.
Yes.
We got 2 women running for mayor.
We have one woman. We have one woman running for mayor.
We have one woman, okay.
And a machine.
And a machine. Oh well, okay. I guess you're going somewhere with that. And so I'm not going to beat you up or get caught up in that statement because I felt something there. But according to what's out here, there's 2 women running for mayor, Lori and Tony. So now, should the people vote, and if the people should vote, I'm not going to say who to vote for. Vote your conscience. Vote for what you think is best for you, for your kids, for your community. Remember, if you're any kind of property owner or own anything in Chicago, you should have a vested interest and a voice in Chicago. If your children go to school in Chicago.
If you lay your head in the city of Chicago, you should get up and vote.
Yeah, I was trying to go there.
Okay.
But anyway, so tell us, Z. So tell us how you doing, what's going on, what motivates you, why you do what you do, and why you're so passionate about this stuff. Go ahead, you tell me. Will you?
I do what I do because I love my community. I love my city, and I will continue to stand up and advocate and be wherever I'm needed to be. When you think about violence, you have to think about our communities itself. They're plagued with poverty. So with poverty, what else is there left to do?
Well, that's true. You know, poverty is an issue in our neighborhood, and I personally think some of that poverty is by design.
Of course it is.
Right. You know, I'm not trying to get mad with nobody, but I do believe there's some folks out there poverty pimping.
That's why I chose to run for the 29th Ward automatic seat, because I felt as though me not just standing on corners every day or me advocating and organizing around basic issues that are so badly needed across this state, not just the 29th Ward, that my voice would be just as powerful representing people, because that one vote did represent the whole city of Chicago.
Okay, so now with that being said, let's cut through the chase. I have a few bones to pick with people.
With people.
Yeah, from the national level to the state level to the city level, all the way down the line. I really think there's a lack of a black leadership agenda in the city of Chicago. I think there's a lack of an African American or black, however you term it, agenda, period. Because I don't see the unity or folks being empowered to take on the realm of leadership in the event elders leave?
You know what? That comes back to a lot of programs that we do, mentorship, right? When you think about our elected officials, how often do you really be able to see them? You know, election time, everybody's out, all the signs, everything. But when you call those offices, when you try to have that one-on-one with them, you have to go to what, ward nights, basic political events that they choose to hold at the time that's best beneficial to them. So not the constituents. When you think of lack of black leadership, we have a lot of it. We represented by a lot of black, Latinos,
Well, what's the
people of
problem
color. We don't hold them accountable.
Oh.
We elect people and then we let them go get paid off our tax dollars.
Okay.
And we don't hold them accountable for what we elected them to do. When you think about property taxes, think about your elected officials,
Yeah.
whether it's state, federal, or county.
Give me one second, please. Amari. So what we're trying to do here is we got a little. This is not ex-cons for community and social change. This is actually Fathers Who Care. Let me show you the name of this program here, so we can be on the same page here. And I think we just running all over the place. I'm not mad at them. We had different signs up. They got a lot of stuff going on, so we ain't gonna be mad at them. We're just trying to help them out. But anyway, we're talking specifically about black leadership in the city of Chicago. And so I'm just telling you again, you're watching Fathers Who Care and not the ex-cons for community and social change, which I think the cats are cool.
Exactly.
All right?
I'm all for my ex-cons, community,
I think my good
and
brothers,
social change.
my brothers
I'm
are good people and they're about that life. But just for the record, you know, that this is Fathers Who Care. But anyway, I want to go specifically to ask you a question. What is Increase the Harvest
Increase the Harvest is actually the ex-cons for community and social change.
And I'm at peace with that.
At the end of the day, that's why when you talk about how many things do I have my hand on and not in there on it, because I'm making sure that our communities are a component of people and issues. And when you look at a community like the West Side of Chicago, because it's very big, and it starts in the house, and it starts in our prisons, it starts in our schools, it starts on our corners. It is a big base, and ex-offenders are a big part of the West Side of Chicago.
Absolutely.
And social change is a well-needed piece on the West Side of Chicago.
Right. And these are just some events of some of the activities we've had over the few years that we've been involved doing things in the neighborhood with folks all around. So let's go and do another one. So let's get a caller. Caller, you on there, your comment or question, please.
Now we Grand Boulevard Coalition.
Yeah, I think somebody's having a moment.
They
but that's
having
okay.
fun.
I still love you
they
guys.
having fun with this. It's a good day. It's a good
okay.
day.
You're all good.
We all
with me.
one organization working together.
That's all good, but this is
Here we
Fathers
go,
Who Care.
Fathers Who Care.
This is Fathers Who Care, just for the record. Caller, you on there, your comment or question. Hello? I guess we're having technical difficulties on the phone. So call us back, and we went back to the con. To the ex-con. Okay, so anyway.
To the con.
Yeah, to the show. So tell us, you was talking about the Increase the Harvest. What are you guys up to? What are you guys doing?
Oh my God, Increase the Harvest
And Mothers Who Care.
It is. Increase the
And
Harvest.
congratulations on the good work that you women are doing, because you women rock. I mean, you women are always on
We
stuff,
had a thank you dinner that was at MacArthur's, and I was stunned at how well Mothers Who Care and Increase the Harvest had grown. MacArthur's footed the bill. They invited us in.
Well, you know, they community people.
And
they tight.
and we had 65 women and children that attended, because everybody know wherever I go, my daughter goes.
Well, actually, she got. I told some folks this before. I said, I think your daughter has more community service hours in these young years she got than most folks done had in a lifetime.
Whole life.
All right.
Yes.
Anyway, listen, we want to also tell you about an event that we're doing on April 11th with the 11th, 15th, and 25th district. We're going to be doing an event entitled Promoting Love Without Boundaries. And this is an event against domestic violence. And we want people to come together, share the love, and we talked to some people before, so we'll be having folks already who are victims or survivors of domestic violence. But what we're trying to do is let folks know that it's okay and you can heal from this. and you can communicate with other folks who've been through this, and it's, you might need a little assistance, you might need some support, you might need a little counseling. It's okay. What we're trying to do is bring about healing in the community. So that's going to be April 11th. For additional information, give Fathers Who Care a call at 773-287-5821, 773-287-5821. You're watching Fathers Who Care. We have our guests on here, none other than Director Zerlina Smith of Increase the Harvest, Mothers Who Care, and I think you work over there with the Institute as well.
You think, yes, I have a 9 to 5. I am the event coordinator for the Institute of Nonviolence Chicago.
So you got a job.
Yes, I have a job as well.
Caller, you on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, caller, you on the air. Thank you for calling.
Yes, I'm getting confused because I keep seeing the different topics on it. So I'm seeing ex-cons for community.
Yeah, but this is the right show. This is Fathers Who Care. There's I think it's just some technical difficulties with the actual caption of the show. But this is Fathers Who Care. And of course, I'm your servant leader this evening, Reverend Jones from Fathers Who Care. And our guest this evening is none other than Zerlina Smith, the director of Mothers Who Care, Increase the Harvest, and the director of the Institute, correct?
No, I'm not the director.
What are you?
I'm the event coordinator for
Event
the
coordinator.
Institute of Nonviolence Chicago.
She's the event coordinator.
Yes.
Caller, thank you for calling. Your comment or question?
I just had a comment, and then I wanted to ask a question to Miss Zerlina. Zerlina, I hope that this is not the last time that she will be running, because the city needs an elected official like yourself, someone that will come out and care about the people and care about the community and make yourself seen, and try to make a difference in the community. So I hope that this does not be the last time that you run for office. I hope that you do it again, and I believe that, through prayer, you can get through this, because I believe that you would be the perfect person to hold office in whatever position you decide to hold office in. And I just had to say to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And if you know me, that was a win for me. Just the support I got from the community. So never think that I'm done. That was a win, just because if one person voted for me, that means that I had one person's support. And I have to thank everyone who did vote for me and continues to stand next to me, because next week I'll be back out on my corners with my job, that organization, Fathers Who Care, Mothers Who Care, the Increase the Harvest. Now I'm a part of a chapter which I'm starting, Survivors, a national level for violence, and it's just so much running through my mind, because your words really mean so much to me, and it has touched me.
You never know who's watching.
Next week, I don't have the dates, but you can call Fathers Who Care or go on Facebook. I'll have the flyers and everything together. We'll be doing our pop-up on Madison and Laverne in regards to the violence, in regards to taking these resources to these streets, because we know the streets are not coming into the resources. So my work is not done. This was not my last political run, and yes, I will continue to advocate on corners. I will knock on doors, and I will do what I need to do to involve my community, because like Reverend Jones just stated, we have an election coming up, runoffs. If you don't live on the west side but you live in the city of Chicago, go vote. Your alderman might be in a runoff, and if you can look outside your window or walk outside your door and it's not the vision you want to be, vote for that person that you believe is going to represent you. Okay?
Now that's true talk. That's real talk. So many people. I think you was talking. We was just talking a little while ago, and I was saying I just threw a little question at us. I said, why should people vote? And you looked at me and you said, because people died. That's real talk.
Yeah.
People died for the right to vote, and for you not to take advantage of the right to vote, then that's a disgrace to your ancestors, all right, to your heritage, to your line and your lineage, because literally people died.
And that's one thing that we need to honestly start advocating around, putting Black history back into our schools. People got to know where they come from to know where they at and to know the path to take to where we're going.
Right.
If you think about the youth and how many of our Black babies are locked up and constantly being incarcerated because of the lack of history.
Right,
Knowledge is very powerful. We're going to talk about the legalization of marijuana.
Let's do that.
He asked me that question.
Since you brought it up, unless you have something else you want to share, I'm at peace with that. You can take it whichever way you want to go with it. You can take the turn with the conversation how you want. But I want to ask a personal question because I got some opinions about it. You know, should we legalize marijuana in the state of Illinois? The question is, and I'm going to be talking about this here for a while. I mean, more weeks than tonight. Should we legalize marijuana? And if we should legalize marijuana, why should we legalize marijuana? Now, I know that's kind of just a blanket statement, but I got a lot to go with that. But go with that comment. The phone lines are open now. Should we legalize marijuana? And if we should legalize marijuana or cannabis, why should we do it? So the question is to you. Should we legalize marijuana? We know like marijuana is legal in Illinois for municipal purposes. We know that for medical reason. We know that.
We're driving to Indiana because we have very few dispensaries.
Well, they got a dispensary right there on Washington.
Just open.
Yeah, no, the one on Western and Ogden. Been there for a little while.
It's a little while. It hasn't been there a year.
Oh, yes, it has. It's been more than a year.
Oh, okay.
On Western and Ogden, right there where the old...
You right.
Yeah, right there on that corner where it used to be Firestone back in the day. But anyway.
It hasn't been a year yet?
Yeah,
Those doors open?
yeah, girl, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But talk to me. Should we legalize marijuana? And if we should legalize marijuana, why do you think we should do it?
Let me just say.
And don't be honest.
I'm not going to beat around the bush.
Be honest
Let
with
me
me
just
now.
say
Be
about
honest.
the legalization of marijuana.
Right.
From Zerlina's point of view.
Okay.
By me living in, I call it the belly of the beast.
The belly of
I live in the belly of the beast.
What that mean?
I live in Austin.
Okay.
I live in South Austin.
I was just trying to figure
a part of the community where, and I apologize, my phone is ringing because I'm doing multiple things still. When you look at the blocks that I have to walk through or drive through to get to my home, you see a bunch of young men, young women, and kids that are out there trying to survive. This is their only means of a hustle, selling weed, okay?
Right.
So when you see these kids out there, because there's no jobs, you can drop out of school at the age of 16 in the state of Illinois, but there's no other services that are given to you to help you better yourself other than that street corner that's always empty unless your friends are standing on it with you.
Okay.
So I would support the legalization of marijuana 100% if it came back to our communities, our black babies, our black men, our black women who have been incarcerated with petty marijuana sales, to have all those things expunged off of their background so they'll be able to go get gainful employment, apply for scholarships if they choose to go to school, and have a better life for themselves. I don't think that the rich should poverty pimp us like they have been for so long.
Poverty pimping.
Because that's what legalization of marijuana will do to the black community, because there are too many blacks that have been incarcerated due to the sale of marijuana. So if they can figure out a way to make sure, and they have spoke this language, but we know how language gets twisted and turned, that they would consider helping some individuals who's been incarcerated with expungement and other things of their background due to marijuana.
Okay, so you kind of open to some conversation.
I'm very open because at this point, like you say, this is history. We have J.B. Pritzker. He's our governor. I supported him 100%. He's done everything that he ran and he campaigned on. So when it comes time for us to go down to Springfield on Lobby Tuesdays and when we set up our time for the governor, I want to make sure that they're not just coming in to continue to push us out, that we have a cut into the planning as to what's going to come to our communities.
Right. That makes sense.
There's no way you're going to tell me that someone's going to come in and the state plan on making $1 billion in taxes off the legalization of marijuana that our community don't benefit from.
So you're talking about revenue now. So from taxation. So you're saying that you might be open to considering the legalization of marijuana for recreational use.
No, I'm very open for recreational use. I'm very open for that. When you look at communities that need economic development, when you talk about revenue, black communities, let's be real, don't have business districts, don't have small business owners, don't have walkable streets, don't have community. And when I say community parks, we have city parks, Chicago parks. When you go to certain areas like Oak Park or Wicker Park or Bucktown, they have tiny little pockets of parks on side streets where they can go walk their dogs. They call them dog parks. Or they can have little parks for toddlers. They have all these nice little names and nice little parks that used to be vacant lots. Why we don't have those? Why we don't have basic beautification, which, to my understanding, the participatory budget is for that the city council governs. But we don't see it in our community.
So why?
Because we don't hold them accountable. And we can't even sit back and say, we keep voting for the same people who put us in this situation. And until we get out this situation, and let's hope when we get this new mayor, because however you look at it, we have to vote for one or the other. And representation for us needs to be us coming together and stop jumping on different bandwagons for a price. And start jumping on a bandwagon for a mission and a purpose.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Listen, you're watching Fathers Who Care. Of course, the sign keeps saying that we're the ex-con for community and social change, but I love that too. But anyway, this is Fathers Who Care. Our guest this evening is none other than Zerlina Smith, and we're talking specifically about a few topics, but one in particular, we're talking about how that we can unite in the community and empower our people. First of all, we want you to have a conscious mind and understand the power of your vote. And the election is upon us right now. We have an opportunity to vote for mayor of the city of Chicago. And history will be made.
With you or without you.
It's going to be made.
With you or without you.
So, it's, I mean, right now, think about your children, think about your communities.
Think about your grandparents.
Yeah,
think about everybody. Don't just think about your children. Think about everybody. Think about the streets that you stand on. That's what's represented when you go out to vote. Think about everybody have to walk them streets with you. So whether it's crime that's bothering you, whether it's education, whether it's the lack of unemployment, whether it's the lack of walking into business that look like you, that's owned by you, that has fresh food, up to date, anything.
Told you she was passionate, didn't I?
Make sure
I told you
vote.
I told you. So anyway, let's get back to this topic. We're talking about should we legalize marijuana in the state of Illinois? What's your opinion? What are your concerns? Should we do it? Yes or no?
Yes.
She's saying yes. What are you saying? Okay, I think there's revenue to be had in this. I don't know where the revenue is going. I think we need to know about the revenue before we start to talk about the legalization of it. I think we should talk about expungement for those who've been formerly incarcerated before we talk about legalization. I think we need to talk about opportunities for other minority groups to benefit from the plant sales and or the dispensaries of the sale of cannabis before we talk about the legalization of it. I think there should be some type of governing board that's representative of all the people.
Just like the elected school board.
It should be representation on a board that represent not just one group of people or business group of people, but
have a representative from each, I won't even say county. If you did city, because once it passes in state, then it has to get to our city. If you do it just like the 50 wards, I think that they should have a representative from.
I think people should be represented. I think folks should be represented. Latino community should be represented. The African American community should be represented. The poor, whoever, they should be represented. However we do it. Caller, you on there? Your comment or question, please. We have our guest this evening, Zerlina Smith. We're talking specifically about a few topics. One in particular: should we legalize cannabis / marijuana in the state of Illinois for recreational use? Your comment or questions, please. Is that caller still there? Okay, there must be, the caller must have left. But call back when you feel like it. Caller, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. My question is to Miss Zerlina, because she seems to be so knowledgeable. If the marijuana was legalized, where would the funds go? Would the funds benefit Chicago? Who would benefit off of the funds? Would it make a difference in the different?
I'm glad you heard her. Thank you so much for that question, because that's what we was just talking about in essence. Where would the revenue from the sale of marijuana and all this other good stuff go? Or where should it go?
Let me tell you where I think it should go and where it needs to go. I need a community of people. I need 4 buses to get down to Springfield with me. A bus can hold up to 50 people. So when I say 4 buses, how many people is that? We can count, right? We get our people together. We get down to the state right now on Lobby Tuesdays. We organize and we put an agenda together and a plan. And we go down there and we advocate. No longer can we have representation for us that don't look like us from our communities, okay? So when you want to know where that revenue go, you can sit there and you ask your representative and you have a commitment letter and you want to put committees together and you want to see the revenue go where it's supposed to go.
Have a voice in where it goes.
That's right.
Listen, you watching Fathers Who Care. The time on the wall is saying it's time for others to come up to the show. And listen, I want to just thank you all for all you do and the compassion that you have for the least of them. But let's keep doing the work, Z, like we always done. Everybody listen. Things gonna happen and things gonna change whether you're in it or not. I suggest you be a part of the change if you really want to see something change in the community. So I want to encourage those of you to join some kind of movement. Join the West Side Community Stakeholders. Join our West Garfield Park Community Stakeholders. Join our West Garfield Park Youth Council. Join Fathers Who Care. Join Mothers Who Care. Really get involved. Stop talking about it. Be about it. I mean, if we that are called by his name would humble ourselves and pray and seek his face and turn from our wicked ways, then he will hear from us and heal the land. We gotta work together.
And if you're looking for me, I'm easy to be found. Go on Facebook, Google me. My number's there, my house, my address. Let's get it done.
What you say?
It does not matter. It does not matter. Whatever your issue is my issue. It might not be going on in my house right now, but who's to say it won't be tomorrow? Let's work together and let's get this done so we can make sure that what we want is what we get.
We love you all. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless you. Next week we'll have Congressman Davis on. We'll be talking about the state of the federal government. And you know that's been a show. It's really been a show on that in the federal government. But anyway, listen, God bless you. Remember, vote your conscience. Be actively involved in your community. We can make a difference. We can make change in our neighborhood. We got to do it for our young people. We got to do it for our seniors. And we got to do it for the love of our people. God bless you. Good night. Keep the faith. Z, thank you so much. Look, if you need us, give us a call at Fathers Who Care, 773-287-5821. It's been fun. We love you, but we got to go. See you next week. God bless you and good night.
Bye.